Good morrow, nerds! Welcome to our third and final LARPtober episode. This week we have something that you guys have all been waiting for months. Thorin and Petra finally answer the questions you all have been asking them. But first, some updates. Last episode we announced our new Patreon reward. $2 a month will get you the chance to win a total and complete makeover for your character and your LARP, complete with costumes, props, weapons, and more from the LarpHouse. Pledging $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content like our Bifrost tube tutorial from last week, as well as entry to win the LarpHouse giveaways, which will include things that you see in our Etsy store and things that we make here on the show. If just half of our subscribers end up pledging, we will be able to reach our goal and travel around the world and pimp out LARPs year-round. Secondly, I have an opportunity to go to Japan from March 27th to April 7th, and I am looking for any LARP or LARP-adjacent activities to film while I'm there. So, hit me up if you know of any that would be interested. Lastly, keep your eyes on our Etsy store because I am about to release something pretty big that I think you guys are really gonna love if I do say so myself. So, that's that. And without further ado, let me introduce you to our interview correspondent, Gene Whistletips from Cross Dimension Weekly. Gene?
Thank you, Cheyenne. This is Gene Whistletips of Cross Dimensional News. I'm here today interviewing Petra and Thorin, two very, very interesting characters from across the worlds. Dimensional worlds, because that's what we cover here on Cross Dimensional News. This first one's from Yamila Puello. What would you do if one of your teammates foamed in the mouth and collapsed on the ground? That's a horrible situation. Thorin, why don't you tell us what you would do in that situation?
Honestly, this is just a Tuesday.
That's very interesting. What about you, Petra? Okay, let's continue here. MRB Dungeon Master has a question for Thorin. Thorin, what is your favorite form of torture?
Emotional.
Emo trash.
That's very interesting. Tiamo has a question for you next. He says, let's take it to Petra. Petra, what do you value most in life?
Love. And food. I mean, friends. Friends are friendship, not food.
Right. Thorin, what about you? What do you value most in life?
Causing the least amount of pain possible to those you love, preferably not getting any of them killed.
This next one's a bit of a doozy. This one's quite a thing. So bear with me as I work my way down this thing. Let's see. Thorin and Petra, I come seeking advice. A former traveling companion has recently started making claims of being abandoned by my caravan and his family, which makes up a great deal of it among other slanderous rumors. He was removed from his position of power when his mutations were becoming more obvious and left in an ensuing bitch fit. As someone who has actually suffered at the hands of their family and been abandoned in the wilderness, I take these claims as salt in a gaping wound. How should I deal with this charismatic simpleton? Indeed, I have thought of introducing him to my Dorothy, my hammer, and removing the tongue, but as a politician I fear he will merely grow another, spitting even greater venom. Sincerely, Dr. Jason Bradford, Chief of Medicine of the Healing Hands Hospital, Private Doctor to the Ivy League Caravan, Lead Field Medic of Morgan's Men Militia, Historian of Sanctuary, Cane Tuck, and Great Lover. Thorin, let's hear your answer on this first.
Okay. It sounds like you live somewhere even more fucked up than where I live, for one thing. Because if we kicked out everyone who had weird eyes or rotting flesh or sparkly skin, we would be left with maybe one bard who has no pants and an alchemist, and there would be left to save the entire world. So, with that in mind, if it still bothers you, you should maybe try offering this person a job with the group that he says abandoned him. And make it a job that he really doesn't want to take, like a really a bitch boy job, right? And then if he accepts it, he will be under you and you can keep an eye on him and he won't really have any right to complain. And if he denies the job and is still a little bitch about it, then you can take a molar for the slander.
Petra, let's see what you have to say about this subject.
Okay, just one question. What's a mutation? Because I have a friend who's part bird, and then another who's part lizard, and then a friend who's part troll, and then two other friends who are part troll, and then my best friend is a fox person, and I'm sorry, I don't really think that I understand the question.
I like what you did there. It's a good answer. It's a good thing. Alright, this next question's for Thorin, so let's take it over to Thorin. Thorin, this one is from an anonymous person. They say, my name is unimportant, but I need some help. Is it more satisfying to steal from and then kill my enemy, or to kill my enemy and then steal from their corpse?
Okay, so the term is raiding, first of all. So if you want to steal things from the body, you will have to do it before you kill it, usually, for me. And it's also more satisfying to watch them realize that they have lost something they loved.
This next one is from Zarabeth. Zarabeth says, I have been running for my life for the past 2 years. I may or may not have skipped town after pinching a fortune's worth of random but costly knickknacks and baubles once owned by a horrible couple who owned me. Now, let's be honest here, who hasn't been in that situation? Okay, now after all of those shenanigans, I'm tired of running and would like to fit in somewhere. So how would you advise that I start over, and where would I best blend in? Blend in. I am young with many skills, and a purse full of coin, but not a thimbleful of noble blood on my name. Help and advice would be greatly appreciated. Oh, and if you could keep the whole ex-slave thing on the down low, it'd be much appreciated. Yours humbly, Zarabeth. Well, I know what I would do on the subject, but let's find out what Petra would do. Petra, what would you like to do here?
Okay, so I'm not a noble either, and I actually have no idea where I came from, but I met my friends because I was hunting a full-grown dragon all by myself. And then I met the Raven Queen, who is kind of like the gatekeeper of the Beyond, and I asked her very nicely, please, may I serve you however you see necessary. And now I'm a knight, so maybe just, ask the gatekeeper of death really nicely to be a knight. And also make friends with a lot of immortals.
What are your thoughts on the matter, Thorin?
So, assuming you are not famous for something that you did in the most painful time of your life, you can probably get away with getting a tan, cutting your hair, getting a couple of tattoos, go to a new town, change your name, make some friends, get those friends to lie for you, say they've known you for years. And then you should be as loud and obnoxious as possible, so that if anybody does come looking for you, they will think, no, that's too obvious, and they will just pass you by. But I haven't thought about this at all. I have no plans at all. I wouldn't know anything about this. That's all.
Hello, my name is Lombard, and I've traveled by myself for years upon years, and my lack of companions has dawned on me heavily, so I've decided to try and make some friends. And to put it frankly, it has not been going well. I'm a friendly fellow, for the most part. If one was to look past the shadowed hood, the cawed gauntlets, and the light-crushing armor, one would see just another vampire assassin with a passion for baking muffins. So, my question is, how can someone like me make some friends? What do you think, Petra?
Okay, I really understand that, because usually the eyeballs and then all the black armor that I usually wear, I kind of look pretty scary sometimes too, until I open my mouth and then nobody's scared of me anymore. So, okay, here's how I make friends. Step 1, bring them presents and leave them in their shoes or in their lap. If you don't know what they like or can't think of anything, dead squirrels are usually a pretty safe option. Step 2, ask them to play lots of games all the time, like tag and who can find the most treasures and where's the body. Step 3, always defend them, even when they're wrong, unless they're murdering another friend, and then it gets kind of complicated. Step 4, maybe share some food with them, but I don't know, that's kind of a big deal and you don't want to come on too strong. Step 5, try really hard not to forget them and go off on your own ventures, and then when you come back, their hair is all white and they're tired all the time. Step 6, kill their enemies.
Blue Tree Lover has a very desperate question that they must know. Petra and Thorin, if you were a cat, what colors of fur would you be? By the way, I'm a huge fan. You guys rock. I love you. So, Thorin, why don't you tell us first? What would you be?
Lavender is my favorite flower.
That's a delightful color. And for you, Petra?
Is sparkle a color? What about rainbow?
Naturally. All right, let's get back to it. I've got 2 burning hot questions straight from Emily Kavanagh. Let's go to Petra first. Petra, how do you stay so awesome and positive?
Well, I think I just end up paying more attention to the good stuff, you know? And that's kind of because whenever something bad happens, like really bad, my face gets all hot and everything goes white and I forget who I am and where I am and who I'm talking to, and even though I come to and I don't know anything, the thought's still kind of there and I just sort of black out and I'm not sure how much longer my body can keep doing that. What was the question?
Oop. Excuse me, I just had something fall out of the netherrealm. Let me put it right back. Fantastic. And for you, Thorin, how do you know if you like someone or if they're just a good battle partner? I mean, we've all been there, but how do you know?
Okay, so there are 2 answers to this question and they are both equally true. One is that they can be more than a battle partner if they change and grow as a person for you and you for them. 2 is that every person is just a battle partner, never love anything.
This next one is from Wolfher Deleleman. Dear Thorn and Petra, I need your advice. My name is Wolfstan, and after 3 decades of fighting across the realms, I've been hired to train a new mercenary company, the Axe Guild. Up until now, I've been able to be like everyone's favorite uncle while leading the young warriors. Recently, though, there's been a breakdown in company discipline, and mutterings that I'm too old to be obeyed. I've been fighting and killing for longer than most of these young warriors have been alive. How do I enforce discipline without calling out some of the troublemakers and chopping them into dog meat?
Have you tried ripping your enemy's throat out with your teeth in front of them?
So, that's it for this week, nerds. I hope you liked this week's episode, but if you didn't, we will never do it again. Don't forget to check out those cool things we talked about on our Patreon page and our Etsy store. But don't forget that we treasure you, we love you, and if you have any questions, comments, emotional outbursts, please feel free to message us. We are on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram. And as always, nerds, like us, subscribe to us, fight with us. All of them. And I would just like to give one special shout out to my roommate Izzy Cuesta, who is an all-important yet underappreciated part of the LarpHouse crew, the cleanup crew. Thank you. Thank you so much, especially after last week. We made a huge mess.